cannot tell you how many times I have told that story, and every single time I tell it, I get the exact same reaction. Some people gasp, and you can hear it. Others literally say, "Oh no," out loud in an audience full of people. I've seen grown men and women cover their faces in shock. And it's in those moments that I know I have captivated my audience. Maybe while listening to me tell this story, you found your own self shaking your head in disbelief or saying, "Oh no," as you realized I lost 10 years worth of data. Let me just say, this is the exact reaction that I want. I want my audience to be captivated when I speak. I want them to be at the "and then what happened" place. Mouth wide open, a little drool falling from the corner of your mouth, and beads of perspiration across your forehead as you wonder what happens next in my story. I'm just Hey sis, welcome to the Entrusted Women Podcast, a one-point podcast created to equip Christian women communicators of color. Every episode focuses on a single point to equip you in one of 4 areas: purpose, writing, speaking, and business. Along the way, I will share stories, lessons, tips, mistakes, and real-time experiences I am learning on my journey as a Christian woman communicator of color. Now, let's dive into episode 10. Today's point is tell a captivating story. When I was a 12th grader in high school, God gave me an impression of myself as an author and a speaker. From that point on, I set out to write a book. I worked on this little book baby in high school, in college, and when I graduated college, got married, and started my career as an elementary school teacher, I was still working on that little book. At the 10-year mark, something devastating and life-changing happened to me. I was in my classroom preparing for a meeting with a superior. I went to move my laptop from the teacher desk to the student desk for this particular meeting. Now, this laptop happened to have an external hard drive plugged into the USB port. This external hard drive happened to be the only place I had saved 10 years of my writing and research and all my hard work. When I went to move the laptop from the teacher desk to the student desk, the external hard drive slid out of the USB port and fell onto the floor. Now, let's be clear, I had previously dropped that external hard drive many times before, but I knew this time was different, and it was. When I went to plug the external hard drive back into the USB port, I realized that all my data was gone, lost. I cannot tell you how many times I have told that story, and every single time I tell it, I get the exact same reaction. Some people gasp, and you can hear it. Others literally say, "Oh no," out loud in an audience full of people. I've seen grown men and women cover their faces in shock, and it's in those moments that I know I have captivated my audience. Maybe while listening to me tell this story, you found your own self shaking your head in disbelief or saying, "Oh no," as you realized I lost 10 years worth of data. Let me just say, this is the exact reaction that I want. I want my audience to be captivated when I speak. I want them to be at the "and then what happened" place. Mouth wide open, a little drool falling from the corner of your mouth, and beads of perspiration across your forehead as you wonder what happens next in my story. I'm just kidding, but I think there is not a speaker anywhere out there that would not admit that they too want their audience to be hanging on their every word. Not checking the time on their smartphone, or maybe getting up to go to the bathroom just so that they could pass the time, and maybe this session will go ahead and end. Nobody wants people checking their emails or sending text messages to their friends during the talk that took them hours upon hours and days upon days to create. Most speakers would overwhelmingly say, I want the audience fully engaged from the time that I get on the stage, get behind the podium, to the time that I sit down. I am convinced that one of the best ways to do this is through the art of telling a captivating story. In expounding on this point, I could have told you how to tell the captivating story, but I thought telling you one would illustrate my point far better than telling you how to do it. Wouldn't you agree? Now, there are a couple of factors that go into the making of a captivating story, because let's be clear, every story is not captivating. In fact, stories are such a big deal in marketing, advertising, communication, and business that there are gobs of books that have been written on the subject matter. In fact, when I was getting my master's degree in curriculum and instruction, I took a course on, you guessed it, storytelling. Go figure. So let's unpack a couple of factors that need to be in place if we are going to have a captivating story. The first thing that you should consider when creating a captivating story is your audience. Duh, those are the people you're telling the story to. The reason that my story about losing 10 years worth of writing is such an impactful story every time I tell it is because I'm usually talking to writers, and writers know how much time and energy goes into writing anything. So when I say I dropped my external hard drive that had 10 years worth of data on it, they feel my pain. They can relate to a time or times when something similar or the exact same thing happened to them. In fact, they told me so. Or maybe one of their writing friends. They can empathize. They feel sad because they know how they would feel if they had experienced the same thing. This ties into the second factor that you need: authentic emotion. The hearer can sense the sadness and the disappointment that I felt. The sheer pain that I walked through, even though it happened several years ago. They know what sadness feels like and disappointment feels like to them. They are able to visualize this in their brains as they listen to the story and imagine the day and the hard drive falling to the floor. This draws them in and captivates their attention. This is what fosters a deep sense of connection between the speaker and the hearer. And this is what we want as a speaker. The third thing that you need, that your story needs, is a relatable and a believable character. And let me just say, no one is in position to do this better than you. You are front and center and holding the microphone, might I add. Tell your own story. You be the believable character. You bring that authenticity to the table. This is your moment to connect with the audience in an authentic way. Not by sharing a story from your highlight reel, but rather one from the bloopers and the embarrassing moments and the blunders of your life, because we all have them. This will build a bridge from your audience to you like nothing else. This is not to say that you cannot tell the stories of other people, but I believe your story will leave the greatest impact. The third thing that you need to tell a captivating story is a moment in time. My moment, you guessed it, was when the external hard drive slipped out of the laptop computer and fell onto the floor. You can almost visualize it in slow motion, like a television commercial, as I slowly yell, "No!" This is the moment where everything changes for me and for my audience as they're listening to the story. It's the moment where they are hooked wanting to know. And then what happened? As the drool falls from their mouth and the perspiration of sweat is across their forehead? If your story is lacking a pivotal moment in time where everything changes, it may be lacking in intrigue for the hearer. If I told a story where I simply finished my little book baby, met a literary agent, and published the book, that would be a little boring. And so God, who is a masterful storyteller, by the way, added some drama and suspense in what would have been an otherwise boring and, dare I say, less painful story. The final factor you need are specific details. The fact that I had worked on my book for 10 years prior to losing the book and all the research is a big deal. If I had only been working on the book for, let's say, 1 week versus 10 years, that would make a significant difference in my story because it wouldn't take that long to recover or rewrite material from 7 days versus 10 years. Now that you know how to put together a captivating story, sis, you are ready to go out there and make your own captivating stories, thereby making your messages memorable. Now, I'm super excited about a new course that I have created, Get Booked. If there was ever anything I know I was made to do, it's speak. In fact, I jokingly say that I came out of the womb with a microphone in my hand. In this course, I'm going to walk you through getting speaking engagements, creating your press kit, negotiating contracts, crafting your message, and so much more. So if you have a desire to speak, if you came out the womb with a mic in one hand, girlfriend, click the link to the Get Booked course below and learn more about this course and how I can help you. Additionally, I want you to join our free community of entrusted women that are focused on determining the message that we have been entrusted with and the intentional purpose God created us for. Amen? Join me next week as we talk about how to keep people reading your writing.